Hello.
Hello, let me present my screen for the agenda. Okay, yep, let's begin. Uh, as usual, yeah, Shutter. Do we have some new updates?
Hi. Actually, we don't have any updates as we've been busy with other projects, but we should resume testing with the Airgun team next week.
Okay, so you'll resume testing with the Erigon team next week.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. We have some fun stuff for testing. Chetna wants to give a demo on the Hive updates she's been working on. So, Chetna, are you ready?
Yeah, just presenting. I hope my screen's visible.
Yep.
So hi everyone. Today I'm going to walk you through how we have adapted the Ethereum execution spec test, famously called East and Hive, to support Gnosis chain development. More importantly, I'll show you how to set this up locally for your own development workflow. So starting with the key enhancements that we have made. Firstly, within our execution specs repository, we have extended the TA10 tool, which is a state transition tool to be more Gnosis aware. What I practically mean by this is that the state transition tool now implements Gnosis fork rules during both test fixture generation and validation. Secondly, we have modified the Hive framework to support Gnosis specific clients. These clients, they go by the name reth Gnosis, so they have a Gnosis suffix at the end. They include modified mappers that generate appropriate Genesis files and configurations. So this is a broad architecture of how everything flows together in practice. It's quite self-explanatory. These are the prerequisites that you'll be needing to set this up locally. One important note on the platforms, Linux users can run this setup directly. However, for Mac users, they will need to use a Docker development image due to networking differences. Coming to the workflow, the first step is generating the test fixtures. This is a common step for both Linux and Mac users. To generate the fixtures for all the tests in the repo, we can execute the uv run fill command and pass in the test directory with appropriate flags. However, if you're targeting a specific EIP, you can narrow it down with the fork parameter. So currently, the fixture generation for Gnosis is supported for folks from Paris and onwards. So coming to the next step, the Linux setup, the setup is very straightforward. So we start Hive in dev mode. from the Hive directory, of course, specifying which client we want to test it against. It could be Nethermind Gnosis, Aragon Gnosis, etc. And then you can run the consume command pointing to the generated fixtures, which will execute those tests against the client that you had mentioned. Mac OS, however, requires a different approach because of how Docker networking works on Mac. So we will need to create a Docker development image that can properly communicate with Hive. So this is what you can typically use. And for Mac users, we have a few extra steps here. You can start by getting a local IP and starting Hive with it. And then you could build the development image, the Docker development image that I showed in the previous slide. And then you could run it and create a Docker container. Once you're inside the container, you can run the same consume commands as on Linux. So this is a bit more involved, but it gives you the same functionality. So here is an example of how a typical test run looks from the execution spec side. This particular example, it shows tests for EIP 7594, which is the pure DAS one. You can see the test execution happening and the fixtures are getting generated successfully. And this is the corresponding view from the Hive side of things. For the same EIP, when executed against Gnosis, of course, it can be executed with the other clients as well. You can see Hive spinning up the client, running the test suite, and the reporting results for each and every individual test case. For the next steps, we're working on having fixture releases, just how Ethereum has for the execution spec tests, so the clients can use them to validate their own implementation. We're also working on modifying the consensus tests for Gnosis and also in setting up the infra where the results for these are published on a regular basis. I hope this was helpful and informative. Happy to hear if you guys have any questions. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool, Chetna. I think basically, yeah, that's what I wanted for a long time. One question you probably have mentioned it. Like, do you fill fixtures using the Python specs, or do you fill fixtures using a client?
No, so I feel we have modified the Python specs to be more Gnosis aware. So I mean, we have we have modified the entire repository to enforce the Gnosis rules. So it is being generated using that and then run against clients.
Cool. Yeah, that's very cool.
So yeah, that's it from my side.
Perfect. So if we don't have any other questions, maybe you can tell some developments and testing, some updates from this week.
Yeah, so like the modified mappers that we were using for East, those were breaking the existing Hive tests that we already had, which Nethermind is using to, I mean, they are deploying it. And so we have modified the Genesis file, which was being used for it, and adapted it with the modified mappers. So we have a much better suite running. So that's the update on the Hive test. We're also working on modifying the GitHub actions and like setting up the infra part so that you have the test results being published on a regular basis.
Perfect. Do we have any other updates on testing?
Nothing else.
Okay, so we can move on to the client updates. Do we have anything from Nethermind?
Hi, no updates from our side.
Okay, from anyone?
I have a question rather than an update. Do you know where we got to with our snapshots? Because I know you were testing them.
Yes. So Sudeep mentioned that day that he had the latest snapshot generated, and I restarted my Aragon with it, with those configs. it did download a snapshot and is now syncing at tip for Chiado.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I just, rather than giving you the update, which I did last week, I thought I'd check with you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apart from that, no other client updates, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Do we have anything for Get?
Not much. I'm still waiting for the update to for the release of 1.17, which should contain a security fix that has been very long in coming. So when that happens, I will make a release. I was looking into refactoring some of it. That is also not finished. I'm trying to make the code look a bit more modern. But yeah, this is ongoing. And I saw Chetna's message about Hive, like the 7 failing Hive tests. I don't think I'll have time to to help this week, but we should get it done. I agree. So I'll do my best to support you. But unfortunately, I'm also away next week because I'm speaking at East Denver and I have to travel there. So yeah, I'm sorry, but I will not be able to tackle that before the last week of February, and I apologize for it. But I'll do my best to support you after that. Yeah, I think that's it for now.
Okay. Yeah, I think for the Hive tests, we have some room for, like, we have some time because there are some tests failing for some other clients as well, and it's fine. Okay, so now moving on to the main thing, Fusaka. Some update. Also, by the way, that's no updates from that. Last week I mentioned we have a DevNet running. So I did a DevNet running with all 4 EL and CL clients as well, but Lodestar kept forking off after a very long time. That is after around 100 or 150 epochs into Fusaka, it was forking off. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I need to investigate that more. But apart from that, all EL clients are very stable on our DevNet. And I tested them using the normal ETH PandaOps transaction spammer. Dimitro has given me some of his scripts that he used for Fusaka DevNet, and I'll be looking into them now to make them compatible with, like, to run them on our DevNet essentially. Last week we were not doing shadow forks at all. So this week I have some good news. We are running a kinda unstable shadow fork, a Chiado shadow fork with only 4 EL clients and 2 CL clients, Lighthouse and Nimbus. But yeah, I mean, so the question that I have, and I think since Nethermind helped us with testing last time, it would mostly be for Dimitro. But what kind of tests are we expecting on a shadow fork? Because we are doing the most of the EIP tests on our DevNet, and also any test we do on our shadow fork will get leaked to mainnet anyway. So are we just looking if the clients are forking off after the transition, or are we doing any other form of testing on a shadow fork? What have we historically done? Do you recall, Dimitro?
I think run EAST test remotely should be fine. So there is 2 ways to run EAST test with filling and run against live network. So maybe run against live network will be enough.
Okay, so you mean the Hive remote? Do that on our shadow fork?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Guillaume, do you have? Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna say, I'm not an expert. I'm not part of ETH Panda Ops, so I might be saying something stupid, but I'm trying to to answer
Go
the
on.
question nonetheless. Yeah, when you do a shadow fork, the first thing you want to check is, of course, that the fork is going to work. So that's the first thing. Otherwise, ETH Panda Ops, they have a lot of tooling that they use in their kurtosis, but you do not actually have to use kurtosis. There's a function called there's a tool that's called Spamor, like Spamor. I don't know how you write it. And this one has a lot of scenarios. And because the Fusaka fork has already happened on mainnet, on Ethereum mainnet, I'm sure they have Fusaka specific scenarios. So just running all the default scenarios would already help you. One thing you might need to do is to fund the account,
Exactly.
the test account, and the test. If I understand correctly, they are funding it by using the withdrawals. Like they create a set of validators, and those validators they have withdrawals activated, and they fund the test account this way. So you let it run for a few minutes, and then your test account is going to start being funded, and this way you can start spamming transactions. To the best of my knowledge, which admittedly is not very good, this is how they do the testing. And usually, if you have problems, just this testing is already going to uncover a lot of issues. That doesn't mean just that is enough to go through the fork transition without any stress. But if you already are able to survive this test, that means you're in a pretty good place already.
Nice. I love that because first we are using Gnosis for our internal devnets and shadow forks. And all of our devnet testing that I did till now was using Spamor, I mean the itpanda tool. I had an issue with funding, so what I was trying to do is pre-fund the account with a lot of GNO because, oh wait, we can't use withdrawals because withdrawals will give GNO and not XDAI. So, I mean, because we don't use the gas coin as the staking token for Gnosis, I have to see
Okay,
how we. Yeah.
so what you can do in that case is a bit more hands-on, but you can always define your own fork. Like you add an extra thing to the fork, but that means every client needs to handle that, of course, which is a bit more heavy-handed. You can always define an irregular state transition in which you randomly fund the account that you need. This is a lot dirtier, so I do not recommend that. But you could do this. Or, I mean, this is Shadow, right? That you're testing for.
I mean, for now, yes, Shadow, but eventually we'll also do a shadow fork for Gnosis chain, right? I'm more
Right.
worried about.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bit more of. I can't imagine you guys not having accounts, that you control on mainnet, and that you could sign transactions for testing.
Yeah, but it'll get leaked
Yeah.
anyways.
Right.
Whatever transactions we do with spam mode on our shadow fork, that will get
Yeah.
leaked onto mainnet anyways, because all the clients will still be peered to some non-shadow fork clients. So they'll
Yeah.
process the transactions.
Yeah, what I meant is, what if you take an account that is funded on the Gnosis mainnet, and you just create, like, you have the shadow fork, so you have a different fork ID, you have a different I think you have a different chain. No, do you have a chain ID? Yeah, I'm very, like I said, I'm a bit
Same
sketchy
chain
on the
ID.
detail. Sorry.
The chain ID remains the same for a shadow fork. That's the issue.
I mean, you could change the chain ID if that's what you need, in which case you could spend some real life Gnosis, but in yeah, okay. Ben, help me out here, please.
Okay, what might be safer is you use a funded account that you control on the shadow fork to create another EOA that you then use for the testing, so that account doesn't actually exist on mainnet, and you're also not using live keys past the first balance transfer.
Right. Yeah, that's a much better idea. Thank you.
Wait, I didn't understand. So we have a pre-funded account. So in the shadow fork, we send the funds to a different account. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and then its keys are only valid on that shadow fork, and you're using that account to create transactions. So,
but
even if there's a security incident, it wouldn't go anywhere. Nobody'd be able to do it.
But what do you mean the keys are only valid on the shadow fork? The derivation will be the same on mainnet as well, right?
What I mean is you create a totally new account, you send it some money from an account you control that has some money, and then so that account now only exists on the shadow fork, and you can put that into spammer, and if there's any key leak from the automation or whatever, it doesn't matter because the account only exists and only has money on the shadow fork because it's completely different keys and everything. You're just using it for the testing. So you do like one transaction, that's real.
I see. Okay.
Although,
So
I mean, you still have the replay issue, I suppose. If
Yeah.
it's exactly the same IDs.
Yep. So we do have an issue with yeah. So at the end of the day, we have to spend real money, but the spammer, that tool requires 16 ETH or 16 XDAI. So I think, I mean, that's not a big amount. So maybe we will just do that, I guess. Thanks actually for all the help. That really sorts it out. So first I try to run Dimitro's scripts on our devnet, and after that I'll do this spammer thing on the shadow fork. Yep. That's pretty much it. Mark, you unmuted. Do you want to say anything?
Oh no, sorry.
Okay. No. Okay, yeah. That was
Yeah,
very
I did have one question, which is
Go on.
so on this testing,
Mhm.
when you run Aragon, you're just running it as a pure EL.
Yes. So for our devnets, we use external CL.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to confirm that because part of the issue we had last week is I was telling you where we were on the EL, and Sudeep was trying to get Kaplan synced, which is where the disconnect was. So I think probably a takeout of that is we need, because I think our validators all run as combined Kaplan Aragon. And in order to be in sync with you guys, it feels like we need to have at least one node ourselves that we're operating set up with a non-Kaplan validator.
Yeah, you know what? When I switched on to Kaplan, that actually got the node synced, because earlier when I was pinging you, I was using external CL and their Aragon was not working with the snapshots.
Yeah, but we got into a slight kind of triangle because Sudeep was having issues with Kaplan. So although you made it work, so it was just, I realized at the time that actually the config that, anyway, I just wanted to clarify that so that we're what we're doing when we're internally testing, if we get into the situation again, is kind of matched with what you're doing, and everybody on the team knows what's going on, because we just had a little bit of internal miscommunication.
I see. Yeah, I mean, it's working for now, and hopefully it keeps working.
Yeah, no, I mean, it shouldn't be an issue now. I just wanted to make sure I was clear what was going on, so the next if it happens again, we're a little bit more synced.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so if we don't have anything else, we can end this call. Thanks a lot, early guys. See you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.